Hey class, this is Professor Sensky. I'm going to talk to you today about doing your simple Hello World program in Grasshopper. And you're going to want to start by either downloading Grasshopper from the link that I provided to you on Moodle, or using a school computer and it's already installed on there. Okay, so you're going to need to be on the Windows side in any case, and you start by opening up Rhinoceros. And then in order to get Grasshopper opened, once it's been installed, you're just going to type in Grasshopper in the command window, and it's going to open up Grasshopper. So what I want you to do is just create a simple kind of parametric column. And the way to do that is to start by making a simple cylinder. And the cylinder is available under Surface, under the freeform, under the primitive window. You can go to cylinder here. That'll let you drop a cylinder. Otherwise, you can double click in the window in Grasshopper and you can search for it. You start typing in cylinder, CY, and then you can put a cylinder in. Okay. Either way is fine. I prefer to search, just makes it easier. I don't always know where things are here. You can see that when you made the cylinder component, it made a basic cylinder. And the cylinder has various parameters, various kinds of input that it wants. You can generate it on a plane, so it wants a plane object. We're going to leave that on the default setting for now, the XY plane at 0, 0. It has a radius, which is a number, and right now it's 0.5 in our system units. So depending on how you set up your units, that could be a foot in diameter, or it could be an inch in diameter, so be kind of careful with that. And then the height. So what we have is a plane, a number for radius, and a number for height. And what we're going to be working with are basically these two numbers here. Those are the parameters that we're interested in. Now, to change a parameter, you can right-click a number, and you can go to Set Number, and you can type in manually what you want that number to be. So if I want the radius to be 1 foot, let's say, I can type in 1, and that's going to change it. The problem with that is, though, it's not really parametric. I can't really vary it. I mean, I can certainly change it, but it's fixed. Okay, I can do that to any parameter. I can say set number, and I can put that in there. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a number slider, and a number slider is going to allow me to vary a parameter in an interactive way. So if I go to parameters, special, and now I'm actually doing like a mouse click on this box here to open this up. I go to number slider. I can put one in. Otherwise, I can type in, number slider. Same thing. Okay. So I can connect the number slider to a parameter, and that's going to allow me to vary it in like an interactive way. So if you put the mouse on the side, hold the mouse button down, it's going to allow you to make a connection, and you're going to put it. It's going to turn into a solid line when you have it plugged into one of these input parameters, and then you let go, and you've made a connection. So now you can see if I vary it, I can go from 1 all the way down to nothing, and that's going to change my radius. Okay. Now, if I want to change that slider, if I want to change the parameter controls, I right-click it, I go to Edit, I can change the name of it, so I might want to actually call it radius. This is like naming a variable. I can change the rounding precision of it, change the number of digits, so I have no digits, so it's whole numbers only. I can make it, tenths, hundredths, things like that. If I double-click maximum, I can set it to so that the maximum radius might be, let's say, 3 feet. And I can set a minimum radius. So I can say 0.1 feet for the minimum. So it's going to be a range. And then the range of that is 2.9. I could also type in something for the range, and I would get a different range as well. I can set the value here if I want to, but I can also set it when I use the object. So this is basically how you create a custom slider, or how you make the slider customized. So now I have a radius slider, goes all the way to 3. Okay, and now I can do interesting things with these sliders that can create different parametric relationships. I can take another connection from this, plug it into the height, and now the height varies the same as the radius. So it almost kind of scales. Okay, the two variables are dependent upon one another. Okay. The maximum is 3, minimum is 0.1. Okay. You could also make a copy of this slider and connect it to the other parameter, and then I can change its value, so I can separate it. So maybe I say the height can be as much as 15, and then if I change that, so the height goes to 15, the radius can be another parameter. So I have two different parameters. In fact, I probably want to rename this. You can rename it by right-clicking and changing the title here. So now it's height. Okay. If you want to organize these a bit, you can pick them with a window, and then you can use these to align them, so you get them nice and straight. If you put your mouse on the side of it, you can actually stretch it a bit if you want to play with that. I can still align these if I want to. Okay. So I have my basic cylinder. It's got two parameters, radius and height. And then one last thing, I can actually use math to create a relationship between the two parameters. So I can create a proportionate relationship. So if I delete, actually, let me disconnect this one. So if I right click here, I can disconnect it. So now it's here, but it's not connected. I can connect this to the radius. Now it's really big. If I right click radius, or R, and go to the expression editor, I can type in an expression, and the variable is R, and I could say R divided by 10. And so now my the height controls the radius. It's always the same proportion. Okay, so it's always 1/10 of the height. I can do other things too. I could change this, and I could say it's always going to be let's see. It's always going to be R, -2. Okay, so simple kind of math that you guys want to do. So now the radius is 13. Radius is getting closer to 0.59. So for Thursday, this kind of thing is all I want you to do. I just want you to install Grasshopper on your computer if you're using a computer, or go to the labs and figure out how to start Grasshopper, and just make a simple parametric column and try some of the things that I showed you. That's really just the most basic thing that I can teach you right now. And so if you do that, you'll be ready for what we need to do in a lab. So just get comfortable with the interface, get comfortable with using Rhino to navigate the window. If you're new to Rhino, zooms and pans and things like that. Know where things are in the Grasshopper interface. And when you are in Grasshopper, I didn't mention this, but to pan, use the right mouse button, and to zoom, use the zoom wheel. And that's pretty much what you need to know there. And just get comfortable with this stuff, and then bring questions with you to lab on Thursday. And again, nothing to submit with this. I just want you to experiment with this. And I'll see you all on Thursday. Thanks.